I have read over 7 books in the past 3 months of 2026. Yeah, 7 only books. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome back to another book talk of mine. So, in this video, you'll be getting to know what are those 7 books and what I think about it. So, let's get started. So, the first book is the one I read in January, the first 2 books. It's in the month of January that I read, and they both were a very good book. And if you have seen the reviewing blog of mine, you would have seen that I have reviewed these 2 books in that video. But I'll be doing it today as well in this video because I have to. They're so good. I can talk about them a lot. So, the first book is The Do-Over. Actually, this is the second book that I read, and the first book that I actually read on the 1st of Jan was The Wrong Tide. I started this book right on the 1st of January. So this was the first book I read in 2026, and this was a very good read. If you have seen the review, you would have known that it got 5 stars from me because it deserves 5 star. It was so good, and even though the plot was predictable, and even though I wanted to throw the book across the room, it was such a lovely read. And if you haven't read it, so do go and read it and let me know what you thought about this. The second book that we have is The Do-Over by Lynn Painter and the rom-com. If you know, rom-coms are now my another favorite trope after thriller and mystery. And this was such a cute book. In this book, it was about a girl who wanted a perfect Valentine's Day for her, but things didn't go as she planned, and everything started going upside down when the day started repeating itself. So it was all about how she goes through all of this trying to get her perfect Valentine's, but that never really happened, did it? You have to find that about in the book. So it was a really good book. It also got 5 stars from me, and I have already reviewed those books, so I'm not talking much about it because I have yapped a lot, yapped a lot about these books before. So I'm going to yap more about the books I haven't yapped. Then we have the month of February में मैंने कोई book read नहीं की थी. Why? Because it was a very busy month and I didn't really got time. In Feb, we had a lot of festivals to do, plus a lot of things were going on, I'll say, which were like needed attention at that moment, and I was really tired after all the things ended. So I didn't read any book in Feb, which is sad, but it's okay. I actually read more books in March, and the first book I read in March was from a series which is The Housemaid. Okay, so about this book first of all got a 5 star from me. Why? Because it was such a good book. At first, when it started, the first page, I was literally confused whose POV this was. But after reading the book, after getting to know what this was about, why the housemaid is so hyped up, I understood why it was such a read, like such a good read for everyone. And I I understand why it got a literal 5 stars from everyone who have read it. For me also, it would be a 5 star. I love the thriller. Like, in a way, it was thriller, I guess. Was it thriller? Was it in a Is it in a thriller category? I don't know. It is in a mysterious category, I can say that. And it has a lot of things people would not agree with, I guess. There were things I was also confused about because why, how, but then I understood after I read more and more. And when I say it's too good to be true kind of man, you should understand that it is too good to be true. Plus, if you know Freda McFadden, you know she never lets the man get away with it if he does something wrong with their girl. So you know how it is going to be. This was one of the favorite books of The Housemaid from everyone, and I get the hype is right. It deserves all the hype it got and also the 5 stars. The second book, which was The Housemaid's Secret. Now, this was a controversial thing, I guess, because the reviews were very divided. Half of the people liked it and half of the people didn't like it, and I understand why half of the people didn't like it at start. When I was reading it, it was so confusing, first of all, because everything was happening all at once, and when you think about it, it was all messed up in a way you feel very uncomfortable with. And then there was the plot. After half of the book was completed, then it started going downhill, and I understood why people were not liking this book, but I actually liked it. And in fact, I felt bad for the main lead in it. The main boy lead, the main man lead, I felt bad for him in this book because he didn't deserve to die. If I am saying that he doesn't deserve to die, because he didn't do anything bad to this woman, but it was like all planned up, all already planned through a lot of things that led them to here. And at the ending, it was satisfying ending. I'll say it was satisfying for me, because after what she did, she deserved that. I'll say that. I'm not going to tell who was the main lead and who deserved to that, or who got something to do with it, but I was like feeling really sad for the the first main lead man of this book, because he didn't deserve to die. He was like the most I'll say grounded person in all of the books I have read from Freda. So this book I think will get 4 stars from me. I actually liked it, even when some parts were like I didn't like that part, or I was a little bit disturbed after reading that part, but I still like the book. And it could have been divided because of how it was treated, just like the way I said that it was a little unfair to this man who was killed in it. So I think that is why people didn't like the book as much as they did in the first one. Then we have the last book, The Housemaid is Watching. Okay, so this was like a very slow one for me. I completed it in 3 days, whereas I completed all the 2 books in 1.5 days or something like that. This book took me a lot of time to read because it was very slow, first of all, and it was slow. Even if it was slow, I was feeling like I was disconnecting from the series a lot, and it could be because of how much I was expected from him. I guess I was expecting a lot from this book, and it didn't leave me fully satisfied at one point. I wasn't satisfied, but the ending was so good. The ending was really good. I was so bored from the first half of the book, but as soon as the second half of the book was started, I was like totally invested. I was so slow while reading the first half of the book, and as soon as the second part, like the second chapter of the second part of the book started, I was totally invested, and I actually read the book. Like, I just finished the book in 1 second after the second part started. So yeah, it took me 2 days to complete the first half, and then 1 day or so to complete the whole half of the book. It was that good in the second part, and I love the characters and the kids. If you know, the third book is about the first book's main character, plus how they settle down and have kids. So it was domestic, but it was good. Then this book, oh my god, it had made me cry. It had made me cry and think about it still after reading it a few days ago, which is You Have Reached Sam. And I know this book had made everyone cry, and I cried at the ending too. It was such a good book. And wait a second, did I read this? The Housemaid is Watching? I think The Housemaid is Watching will get a 4 stars from me as well, not 4.5. I think it deserves 4 stars, but the first book was the best. And this a total 10 stars if I'll say, because 5 star is less and 10 star worthy, maybe more. So this book was very cute, subtle, not in a subtle way, but in a very emotional, subtle way. It was very emotional, with very long chapters that took forever for me, because I get slow when the chapters are very long, and it was so good. I talked about it with Gauri a lot after finishing the book, and she asked if she could read it, and obviously she could read this book. It was just too good. And You Have Reached Sam deserves a 10 star. It was one of my favorite reads of the month March, and if I could, I'll get the second book from the author, the second book which was written after this. It has, I guess, Oliver in it. I'm not sure. Oliver and someone else. I love this. Then the last book of month March, which I read just a few days ago, was Then She Was Gone, another mystery one. It was a book about how this girl named Ellie got missing when she was 15. Yeah, when she was 15. Wait, did I forget? Yeah, she was 15. And how she was her mother's golden child, how she had her whole life ahead of her, but then she was gone. And then after 10 years, her mother found someone, and he has a 9-year-old daughter who is like a copy paste of Ellie. I think this has given me a lot, you guys actually, not me, but you guys, a lot of spoilers. So what really happened to Ellie, and who still has secrets to hide? It was a good book, but I have predicted the plot in the first 50 chapters. I knew who took Ellie and what happened to Ellie, and who this little girl was. It was kind of very predictable, and also it was a hard read. Why? Because it was in full British language. Not even a little word from here to here was different. It was in full British language from, I think, the author's POV most of all. I don't know if it was in the author's POV or the character's POV. Whatever it was in full British thing, full British language, and it was my first book that had full British English in it. The rest of the books which I have read didn't had this much of a British language in it, but this was fully in British language. So it was a little hard to understand at first, but after reading it I got used to it, and it was okay. And I guess it could get 3.5 stars from me. It wasn't bad. It wasn't either very 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 good kind of thing that will make you excited to read it. So it was like a 3.5 stars from me. It could have been more if I didn't predicted the plot, because I'm a maniac. Whenever I'm free, I just watch thriller, mystery, or these kind of creepy movies or videos. I don't know why. And also I have read so many of Rena McFadden's book that now my brain doesn't work in like simple way. It doesn't think about the simple clues that it has. It think about the most difficult and most things that couldn't even happen, and that's how I just guessed it. So I'm sorry if I guessed it and you didn't, but that's how it happened to me. But that was it. That was all of my yapping for all these books. Wait, all the books I have read in the month of Jan and March. So yeah, these are all the books. I hope you guys liked it, and if you did like my video, then don't forget to like, share, comment and subscribe. Bye, see you in the next video.